Hello, today we're going to complete a unit rate and unit price review. I'm going to do one of the word problems and then I'm going to ask you to do what's called a parallel word problem, meaning it's very similar, but I'd like you to try it based on what we did. And we'll use this as a review. So the first word problem says Steve drives 78 miles on 3 gallons of gas. How many miles, and this should be many, how many miles did he drive per gallon? So let's go ahead and highlight that information. We have 78 miles and 3 gallons. And the question is, how many miles can he drive per gallon? And as we've talked about recently, when they say per gallon, they're talking about 1 gallon. So we're going to use this information that's given, and we're going to use what we call the shortcut method. We're going to take 78 miles and we're going to divide it by 3 gallons. And again, this little ratio bar can also be used to mean division. So I'm going to take my calculator, I'm going to put top number, which is 78, divide it by 3, and would you pause to use your calculator? And hopefully 26. So now we have to put meaning to that. Well, what did they ask us? They asked us how many miles per gallon. So you're going to notice what we find is the top label, 26 miles for 1 gallon. So we're going to write that up. So again, the question, how many miles did Steve drive per gallon? So we're going to write Steve drove 26 miles per gallon. Or you could say for 1 gallon if you prefer. So that's our answer. So I'd like you to try the next word problem on your own. Maria bikes 32 miles in 4 hours. How many miles does she bike per hour? So what would the ratio look like if we set it up based on the information that's given? If you said 32 over 4, you'd be correct. And 32 specifically is miles over 4 hours. What should we do next? We should take 32 and divide it by 4. What is the answer? The answer is 8, and Maria can bike 8 miles. Again, that's what they gave us first, in 1 hour. So now let's move forward to our third word problem. It costs $3.99 for 25 fluid ounces of juice. Find the unit price. When we hear the word unit, we're talking about 1, so we want to know the price for 1. And they've given us money, so that's price. And the other unit that we're talking about is fluid ounces. So let's go ahead and start this. Let's highlight this information. And again, we can use our shortcut method. We're going to start with $3.99 compared to 25 fluid ounces. That's the abbreviation. And we can use this ratio or fraction bar to mean division. So we're going to take $3.99 and we're going to divide it by 25. Please pause and use your calculator. And the answer is 0.1596. Now, they ask us to find the price, and money does not look like this. So we're going to go back and we're going to use our what dot the heck method. dollars, dimes, and pennies. So it's either going to be 15 cents or it's going to be 16 cents. So this 9 tells this 5 to go up. So our unit price is $0.16 per fluid, and FL is abbreviation, ounce. And OZ is the abbreviation for ounce. So would you please try the next one on your own? It costs $6.99 for 50 fluid ounces of detergent. Find the unit price. So what ratio do you think we should write in order to find the unit price? So we should have $6.99. Money is always on top when they ask what the unit price is, or the cost per ounce. And so we should have 50 on bottom. What should we do next? Well, we're going to take 6.99 in our calculator and divide it by 50. What is the answer before you round it? When we take 6.99 and divide it by 50, we get 0.1398. How much would that be after we round it per fluid ounce? After using what dot the heck? We have 13 cents or 14 cents, and this bossy number tells this 3 to go up. So our final answer is 14 cents per fluid, and you can abbreviate if you like, ounce. So for 1 ounce, it costs 14 cents. So now let's go on to our 5th word problem. So far, we found the unit rate using whole numbers. We found the unit price that required us to use decimals, and now we're going to try this with fractions. And I realize fractions can be intimidating, but we're going to use the same exact pattern. We take the top amount divided by the bottom amount. So we're just going to use a different type of number called fractions. So let's see. Isaac uses 1/4 of an ounce of nuts to make 1/12 of a pound of cake. How many ounces of nuts are needed to make a cake? And when they say a, they're talking about 1. So we're actually finding the unit rate. We're going to use the same process that we have. We've been given this information. This is our top number, and this is our bottom number. So we're going to start with 1/4, and we're going to put ounces, which is abbreviated OZ, of nuts. And then here's what looks weird, but it means the same thing. That's my ratio bar. And we're going to use it like division. And we're going to take 1/12 of a pound, and that's abbreviated LB, of cake. But here's the fabulous news. Just because it looks terrible, I'm still going to use that as division. So I'm going to take 1/4 divided by 1/12. And recall, you're going to be able to use your calculator for this. So would you please take your calculator out and take 1/4, and you enter it by placing 1 ABC 4. That's for 1/4. Then you're going to put in division, and you're going to put 1 ABC 12. And when you press enter or equals, it's going to give you the answer. So please pause and do that. And the answer that you should have found should be 3. So this equals 3. So 3 what? Well, 3 ounces of nuts to make 1 pound of cake. So let's write that. 3 ounces, I'm going to go ahead and abbreviate, of nuts to make 1 pound of cake. And the original question actually asked us to make a cake, and since there was 1/12 of a pound, the whole cake would be a pound of cake. So now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to please try this next one on your own. Let's read through it. It says William takes 1/3 of a minute to fill 1/6 of an ice cooler with ice. How much time, we're talking in minutes, will it take him to completely fill the ice cooler with ice? So please set this up yourself. How do you think this should be set up? So this should be 1/3 of a minute over 1/6 of the cooler. So now what would be the next step? If you said 1/3 divided by 1/6, you are correct. So please pause this, use your calculator, and state the answer. This is 2. So now we have to go back and decide what that means. 2 minutes for the whole cooler, to fill the entire cooler. So to answer the question, it will take 2 minutes to fill the entire cooler. Thanks for listening, and I hope this review is helpful.